And next up, we've got PRC again doing Versa-I, a bring your own iPad solution from Jeremy is going to present this. And I'm not going to go on much more. And we want you all to stay on for the very end. But I think we'll be ending just a tad early today, which is, I think, good for everybody. Next up is Jeremy. It's all yours. I'll give you a little hand signal for the time. Go for it.
All right, give me one sec. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Jeremy Legaspi. Can you guys see my screen? Just want to make sure.
Yep, looks good.
Okay, perfect, thanks. I am a AEC consultant for PRC-Saltillo, coming from sunny Phoenix, Arizona. I cover Central and Northern. And today we're going to talk about Versa-I, a bring your own iPad solution. So not too long ago, PRC-Saltillo came out with a consumer line of devices, the first being the Versa wrap. So if you're familiar with the chat wrap, this was essentially its replacement. The Versa wrap is lightweight, contains an Apple AirTag pocket, so that makes it easy for tracking left behind devices, stolen devices. It has an area for strap attachments and a multi-position stand. So if you're familiar with the VIA line of devices, that is a similar stand to that one. The Versa wrap compatibility-wise, there's a 12.1, a 10.1, and an 8.1. They will all support the previous handful of generations. So you could see for the 12.1, it's a iPad Pro, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generations, and so forth. The 10.1 will support iPad, iPad Air, and iPad Pro. And coming soon is going to be basically the VIA Mini version of that. Also released is a Versa speaker. So the Versa speaker is portable. This is meant to snap right into the Versa wrap if you need extra amplification. If not, there's a placeholder, and I'll see a picture here in a second for what that looks like. IP rated, 7+ hours of continuous usage, and wearable with the included lanyard. And now to talk about what we're here to talk about, the Versa-I. So the Versa-I is a Versa wrap eye tracking accessory. It's powered by Hero from iRespond, and I believe they're going after me, so you'll get a little more in depth with what they have to offer as well. PRC-Saltillo has added a internal power supply to power that eye tracking for your all day long needs. There is a single charging port, so it's a 60-watt USB-C, as well as a 3.5 audio jack for your switches. This will also support Bluetooth switch using a Arrow switch. The wrap itself, so you can see here, is if you don't choose to put a speaker on, there'll just be a placeholder here. There are mounting capabilities here using a QRM or a quick click plate. And the Versa-I will be on the 10.1 and the 12.1 using those generations of iPads that we talked about earlier. I recommend going with the Pro. This is a bring your own a bring your own device. So what you're getting here is the Versa wrap and as the Versa Eye, and then you'll throw in your iPad of choice. Pros are just gonna just have that beefier processor, just make everything smoother all along. So the iPad obviously is a powerful piece of technology. It's familiar. Almost everyone has one. They're in the schools, they're in homes. And over time, Apple has added many more accessibility features to open the platform to others that are not using touch. So PRC-Saltillo has been designing apps for more than a decade. And in 2010, we released the popular Touch Chat as the first app by any SGD manufacturer. And with these advances in the iPad and ever growing need for AEC systems to meet a variety of needs, it's no surprise that we're seeing more and more of them need assistive technology. And I see some questions going, so we'll get to those at the end. And in the iOS ecosystem, obviously, like we said, was designed for touch. You could tap a button, swipe and swipe, pinch to zoom, and long press, things like that. But that's obviously difficult for those that aren't able to use that touch. So a while back, Apple created Assistive Touch that was iOS 5 or 6, something like that. So it's been quite some time. And then in iOS 13, they added support for pointing devices. So that's things like an eye tracker or a mouse or a joystick. So that expanded the control to others that are not using touch. And we'll see the Versa Eye here demoed in a sec. It uses the Hero by iRespond, and it's one of only 2 MFI certified accessories. So MFI is made for iOS. And what that means is that it automatically gets detected by the iPad OS and automatically turns on Assistive Touch. So it makes it kind of a streamlined for using the system with minimal setup. You don't have to go in and turn everything on. It's turned on for you. And that integration with the Hero exists in the PRC-Saltillo apps, Touch Chat and Dialogue. So if you're not familiar, Dialogues are text-based app, and Touch Chat will use word power. And so let's see it in action. Let me just close this. There we go. So here I'm demoing it using Dialogue. I want to make sure that I shared my sound. Sorry. So in both Touch Chat and Dialogue, we have new actions. So you're able to add a button action for pause, Assistive Touch, and calibrate. We'll talk about that in a slide after, but those will be added in, and you could program those anywhere as needed. Change the button size if you need a larger button to calibrate. So we're going to show you what that looks like here at Calibrate. So that Calibrate button will automatically launch that positioning window to be able to calibrate. You'll have a 5, 9, and 16 points calibration. So in this demo, I'm just using a 5. We'll see what that looks like here. So if you're familiar with eye tracking, it'll be a standard 5-point, one in the middle, and then the 4 corners. You'll see there is an option to use the Iris Bond Hero app as well to calibrate, and that will give you some calibration data on how successful those calibration points are if you're needing that. But most part, that built-in calibration works extremely well. There is also going to be that assistive touch.
I use this
button.
device to communicate, so please give me time.
So just use a phrase base there. That is, hold on, there you go. That is actually my voice keeper voice up here, imported into the dialogue data.
Please give me time. Can you see? Did you see the sign?
See the pause action as well here. And what this assistive touch button does is it will bring up assistive touch to be able to flow back and forth between the app that you're using and the iPad OS. And that menu will look like this. Hold on 1 sec, sorry. So that menu will look like this. This is fully customizable within the assistive touch menu. By default, this is what you'll see. You'll have access to pause and dwell as when you're on the iOS side. You'll be able to scroll, access your notifications, any custom needs like recipes within that menu, to use gestures, home, and access to control and some hardware buttons, so that you'll be able to flow back and forth. And what the assistive touch does is basically it will hand the cursor off to dialogue or touch chat, and this button will hand it back to iOS. And this is just another example of those buttons programmed. You could color code them just like you would in any other button within the system. The open config will open that positioning window. That pause will pause and resume, and that enable the assistive touch will enable assistive touch. What we didn't see in the video, and just hard to demonstrate in the video, are the menu settings. So within touch chat, you'll see that there will be a hero option in there. Same thing with dialogue. And I'm not monitoring the questions, but a common question people have as well is, does Words for Life support it? Totally usable in Words for Life. It just does not have this configuration in it. So you could use it like you would any app using eye tracking with the hero. It's just not going to have this customization here that we're going to talk about. So within the settings, you'll be able to open that calibration window, which we looked at that shortcut, so you don't have to come into that menu. Trigger action. So in the video, I was using blink, but you have hover as a most popular option. Mouth open, eyebrows up is another option that people use. So you're able to pair the eye tracking with the facial recognition within iOS to have that as your selection method.
Jeremy, 1 minute.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. And you have hover time, cursor smoothing. I use the dot and the pop to give me my feedback. And price point is $29.95. And you're able to have seamless integration, that kind of compatibility that we talked about. Having answer some questions. I see a bunch in there. More questions to be answered at Versa at PRC-Saltillo.com. And we are giving away a Versa wrap, not the Versa Eye, unfortunately, but a Versa wrap.